Hey everybody, today Rahdo runs through Welcome to Walnut Grove from Lookout Spiele Games. And this game is from designer Tuukka Tukalia, who you may know as the designer of Eclipse, which of course was a really huge hit in 2011. And now Walnut Grove came out in the same year. And for gents and my money, this was Tuukka's game of the year. I mean, we enjoy this a heck of a lot more in Eclipse. And I'm actually trying to demonstrate how using my brand new Pivothead filming sunglasses, which is my inaugural attempt. This is a big experiment, seeing how well these cameras work, because the main thing they allow me to do is have two hands. And also, you'll notice, they also allow me to film a second feed. So I can now actually have a static camera view of the game in addition to my normal sort of action camera. So we're going to give this a try. Sorry, Tuukka, that I am experimenting with your baby, particularly since this is your best baby as far as we're concerned, but what the heck, let's give it a go. Let's jump right in. All right, now, Walnut Grove. Now, this game could be called, really, Little House on the Prairie, the board game, or The Waltons, the board game, because it's set in a pioneer west town, and the central board kind of serves as a big rondel, for all intents and purposes, where players can take their player pawns and move in a clockwise direction around the town, stopping at the carpenter, or the hotel to get more workers, or Sobuck's Hardware, so you can get improvements to your, that'll score you victory points at the end of the game, improvements to your homestead. In addition to this board, where we're doing rondel stuff, each player also has their own homestead board, where they house themselves. This little black pawn represents the player, and I live pretty much here. Oops, I don't know why I have them in an empty barn. They should be over here. I have... this is me. I live here in the main house, and I've got one worker here at the beginning of the game. You can see it was chosen randomly because this is the starter board I got, which says I get one blue worker. Jen, she ended up getting a yellow worker. And now we also both start over here in our one hut, our storage shed. We start with each with 2 coins. And now they're both copper coins, which means the 0 means they are worth nothing at the end of the game. If we get any silver coins, they're worth 1 point. If we get any gold coins, they're worth 2. But at the beginning of the game, we start with 2 copper coins, which aren't worth anything, but which we can use as money. And then also, finally, each of us starts with 1 wood ready to be harvested over in our nearby forest. Okay, so that's the basic setup. We're all set up. And now, every time you play, you're going to get a random collection of stuff. Random workers in the lodge, in the saloon, in the hotel. Random upgrades that give you different long-term strategies. In this game, in a 2-player, obviously there's space for more improvements with more players. But in this game, this improvement means for every worker, that's the universal symbol for worker, that I have at the end of the game is worth 1 additional point. Workers are already worth points at the end of the game, but if I get this home improvement, this upgrade tile, my workers will be worth additional points. This one gives me additional points for every completely fenced pasture, or whatever you want to call it, that I've got. And then again, pastures are already worth a point at the end of the game for every fenced enclosed space you've got, but if I get this, they'll be worth an extra point. This one gives me a 1 point for every upgrade I buy for my homestead, and that's what these are, these huts and these sheds. So if I get this, I'm definitely going to want to get a lot of those because that turns them into points, or again, additional points. And then finally, this one will score me points, a number of points equal to my biggest contiguous pasture type. So if I get this one, I want to definitely have a really gigantic field for cattle, or a really gigantic field for forest, for harvesting wood or whatever. So now, I don't have any of those yet, but those give me things I have in the back of my mind, actual tactics and strategies that I want to bear in mind because I might be able to grab some of those. Let's see. And enough about that. Now, the last thing that happens before we start is I'm the first player, so I take my little town pawn, and I can either put it in the first space of these 3 dots over here, or these 3 dots over here. And what that means is if I come over here, that means when I enter town for the first time, I will have quick and easy access to this side of the street. Whereas if I come over here, I'll have quick and easy access to this side of the street. I think I'm going to go do that. I'm going to take that one. And I'll talk about why I'm doing it later. And now Jen, she gets to place as well. She could have second place access to this side of the street, or she could have first place access to the other. She'll just go ahead and take first place on the other side. Okay, setup is all done. this is when we actually look, and this has already been revealed. This is the first of 8 rounds. This game takes place over 8 years, and the years are tracked by these little dials. You can see this is the first one. There's going to be 7 more after this. Now, what this is telling us is several things for the 4 seasons. In spring, the first season, each player is going to draw 3 tiles and keep 1. Then, in summer, we're going to do our harvest, and fish, which is what the blue tile is, can produce extra. There's going to be a bounty of extra fish this year because this is what happens in summer. Then we move on to autumn, and in autumn there's going to be a town shortage on dairy, which is what the white cubes are. So dairy is worth an additional $1 for every dairy cube we sell. And then finally we get to winter. These are the 4 stages we're going to do in a round. We get tiles and place them, we do harvesting, then we do stuff in town, and if we sell, we can sell for more than normal. And then finally winter. All of our workers need to be fed, and this year, yellow workers are going to need to be fed twice as much. And I don't mind because I started with a blue worker, but Jen started with a yellow worker. So this is important to her. She knows this yellow worker normally would require 1 yellow cube during winter, but this winter it's going to require 2 yellow cubes. And also there's going to be some additional firewood needed because it's going to be a very cold winter. If this wasn't here, all we'd have to worry about is Jen would need some extra food for her yellow worker. But this means we're also going to need extra wood, which are these cubes, to deal with the fact that it's going to be a colder than normal winter. So we know what the year is going to be like, and now we can start playing. And remember, the first thing we do is we draw 3 tiles and keep 1. And now everybody can do this simultaneously, and that's how we always play. But I can't, of course, do it simultaneously. I'm just going to go on ahead and do mine first, and then I'll do Jen. So we come into the bag full of tiles. They're all Carcassonne-style tiles. Let's see what we get. Just trying to draw in randomly. 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's lay them out here. Right, now, I get to draw 3 and keep 1. And whichever one I keep, I'm going to add to my homestead. So I could add this. And as you can see, then I've made a nice little completely enclosed, fenced-in area for stone gathering. And you can see this is actually kind of nice because it kind of will let me expand wood from here to here. Or I could go like this. And so my forest is bigger, and I could expand stone later. Now, the interesting thing about this is, unlike, say, Carcassonne, you do not have to match the tiles. I could put this over here if I wanted. This would be kind of a dumb move, putting the grain right next to the forest, but I could do that if I wanted. Let's see, what else do I got? I've got this grain, and it's nowhere near my forest. I've got this grain forest water, so this would be kind of nice. It gets a completely enclosed grain thing, and it could build up water. And now remember, this year, the water, which, the blue cubes, the fishing cubes, are going to generate more than normal. So if anything, I might want to generate more blue than I would. So maybe I want to grab this blue. So that's actually a pretty cool thing. I think I'm down to either going like this and generating more wood because I have a bigger forest, or like this and generating more fish because I have a bigger lake, and because, remember, there's going to be a bonus on fish gathering anyway. Oh, which one? Well, you know what? Because this is going to be a colder than normal winter, I think I'm going to err to the side of caution. I'm going to want more wood. So I'm going to toss this tile back, and this is the one I'm going to get, and I'm going to put it down here. I could put it here, I could put it here, here, or here, but I'm putting it here because you can see it will potentially allow me. Now, see, I'm starting to make a fenced area. Remember, fenced enclosed areas are worth more. This is allowing me to start to build potentially 2 bonus fence areas. I could go like this too and just instantly close it, but I want to keep my options open. I might want to expand and get more stone over time. So that was me. Now Jen, she's going to draw 3. And again, we were doing this at the same time. Let's see what she drew. 1, 2, 3. All right. So, now remember, she's worried about her guy who's going to eat her out of house and home. So she really wants to expand her wheat field if she can. She's got 2 options for it. Although, this is unfortunate because ideally, see, she could go, no. Now again, she could build any way she wants. She could build like this, and knowing full well that this forest doesn't touch with her other forest, and this green won't really expand into that forest very well. But she could, but I think instead she'll take this. She's kind of creating an orphan forest over here, but she is making a bigger field, which is important. Now, the other thing, maybe she'd want to do this instead, because, oh, look how perfect this is. This is flawless. It makes a completely enclosed lake. That's worth a point, potentially more if Jen gets this thing at the end of the game. The forest expands and the green expands. But she knows, okay, she's going to take a chance. Even though this is probably the smarter one, she's going to do this because it's such a perfect fit. Now the rest, they go back in the bag. We're done with that. And we're done. That was it for spring. And now some seasons, you actually draw 4 and get to keep 2. But in this one, we drew 3 and kept 1. Now, we move on to harvest, where this year there is going to be a bountiful crop of fish, if we harvest fish. Now, again, we're doing this simultaneously. I take both of my workers, me and my hired hand, and I can put them in any field, and they will generate based on how big that field is. So, and now I don't have to mix and match colors. I could put my blue guy, I don't have to put him in a lake. I could put him over here in the forest. And I'm definitely going to put somebody in the forest because I expanded the forest. So I want this forest to produce. Let's see. And because there is going to be bonus on fish, I'll put my other guy, me, over here in the lake. And now Jen's going to do the same thing, but I'll worry about her in a second. So that means these two things are going to, my forest and my lake are going to produce. How much do they produce? Well, they produce a number of cubes equal to the number of tiles that they contain. My forest contains 1, because this whole thing, my entire board counts as 1 tile. 1, 2. So that means this forest generates 2 wood. And fortunately the forest has space for it, because I can put them in these slots. If I generated more wood than I had slots, I could take the excess wood and put them directly into storage. But you can see, you can very quickly run out of storage. So it's good to store actually out in the field if you can. So my forest, which was 2 tiles big, generated 2 wood. Now my lake is only 1 tile big. So normally it would only generate 1. But again, because of the bounty, it's going to generate whatever it does plus 1 more. So that means my lake generates 2. And when you know, I happen to have 2 spaces for it, so that worked out well. Now, Jen, she's going to produce as well. She is also going to produce in her lake. And I think she is going to produce over here in the fields, because remember, she needs that extra wheat. All right, so now, she is going to generate 3 fish, because her lake is 2 spaces big. And remember, the bonus for this season means she generates another one. There's no room in her lake, so her last cube, will go here in storage. That's fine. And now she's also generating in the fields, in the wheat fields, but unfortunately it's only size 1, so it only generates 1. And remember, Jen needs 2. That's a problem. Her worker might go hungry this winter. We'll see what happens. Anyway, so that's it. We've done spring, now we've done summer. The harvest is over. Now let's move on to fall, and this is when we go to town, do whatever we want. But if we're going to sell cubes, white cubes sell at an extra. Now as it happens, neither Jen nor I generated any white cubes. White cubes are dairy. If Jen had come over here, into her little dairy field, in her cattle field, she could have generated some dairy and sold it for more than normal, but nobody generated any dairy. So what are we going to do? Now remember, we'll see. I will go first because turn order at this point, and by the way, fall is the only time where everybody cannot just do their actions simultaneously. Players have to play in turn order, and the turn order is determined by whoever can get to town hall. Whoever is furthest away from town hall. Right? No. It's whoever can get to town hall closest. Now, Jen, she's over here. She could get to town hall in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is town hall. She could get 6. Me, I'd have to go all the way around. So I, in this space, am farther away from town hall, and that means since Jen is closer, she gets to go first. So she gets to take her guy, and she can place this guy anywhere on this rondel, onto any space she wants. The only caveat is and so she starts from here, she could keep going, she could place anywhere. But if she ever passes town hall, she has to pay $1 in taxes. And then if she keeps going, whenever she passes the church, she has to pay $1 in tithes, as you might imagine. So Jen can take anyone she wants, but she really probably wants to stay on this side of the road because as soon as she hits this, she'll have to pay taxes. So she doesn't want to do that. So now where does she want to go? Well, she could come here, and now this is, this is the church itself, and she could get a donation from the church and lets her get 2 cubes of any color she wants. And now remember, and you know what? And the heck of it, that's what she's going to do. She's going to come here. She just gets to get a donation, some charity from the church. She gets 2 cubes. One of them is definitely going to be a yellow, so that she has enough to feed her people. But, now this is a problem. Now, she gets to take another one, but her storage shed is full. She has no place to put it. And that's not good at all. Now what she can do is, she can take any of the things that are currently in her one storage shed, and she could discard it. She could throw it away to make room for the other cube that she could get. Does she want to do that? I think she will. She's going to throw away one of these cubes because at the beginning you only have copper cubes. They're not worth anything at the end of the game. They're worth nothing. So she's going to toss that cube to make room to get, or I'm sorry, not the cube. She's going to toss that coin, that copper coin, to make room for another cube. And what else does she want? Well, she knows she's got now the 2 wheat she needs to feed. She's got the 1 wood she needs. Oh, no, she needs extra wood because, remember, this is going to be a cold winter. So the other cube she's going to take another wood cube. Now, she cannot take this wood cube and put it out in the forest. Only stuff that she harvested could go there. So this other one has to go in storage. Her storage shed is completely full. To make room, she had to throw away a coin, and that was it. She is done with the town phase, and now it's my turn. So let's come back up to me. Now, on the other side over here, I could go to the post office and get something in the mail. It's the same thing. I could get any 2 cubes I want. But I've got all the cubes I need. So I'm going to skip that and try to do something a little bit better. What am I going to do? Am I? Oh, that'd be crazy. Yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to jump to the next space. I'm going to go to the Dakota Lodge. Now, there's 3 places, and this is a place where I can get workers. I can either get a yellow worker or a white worker. There's 3 places: Dakota Lodge, Hotel, these 2 workers, and Joe's Saloon over there. These are the only workers that will ever come out over the course of the game. Once they're gone, they're gone. So I'm trying to grab an extra worker as fast as I can. Now, to hire a worker, as you can see, it says right here, requires 2 yellow cubes, 2 grain cubes. I did not harvest any grain cubes at all. However, my coins, whenever you want, your coins, it doesn't matter what type they are, whether they are silver, copper, or gold, they can be used as wild cards for any cube. So I am going to throw away both of my coins, turn them both in for wild cards to be wheat, and that will let me hire somebody, and I'm going to hire this yellow guy. So I now have a bigger workforce than Jen. Now, this guy doesn't actually start work until next year, so when I take it, I put it off to the side. And that's as a reminder, I don't have to feed him this winter. Next year I'll have to feed him because next year he'll do work for me. So he just sits over there to the side. So now that's it. We have both done our town thing. Jen got some charity because she couldn't quite harvest what she needed. I paid through the nose with some coins and got a worker. And now finally, here we are to winter, and now once again, everybody can do this at the same time that they want. We have to feed all our workers, and in the case of yellows, we have to feed 1 extra, and we have to keep all our workers warm, and we have to pay 1 extra wood on top of that. So let's look at me first. Now, everybody comes home, me back in my big house, and this guy over here in this covered wagon, in his covered wagon. Now, I gotta feed him. Blue guys only will eat fish. Just so happens I generated some fish, so I'm going to take this fish, I'm going to feed him, and he's happy. I don't have to feed myself because it's assumed there's enough food in the big house to feed myself. But I fed him. Now, he is going to freeze to death unless I give him some wood so he can run his campfire. So I will give him 1 wood to run his campfire, and now he is totally fine. And remember, I don't have to worry about this guy yet. He doesn't show up till next year. But because it is an extra harsh winter, we need more wood. In addition to however much wood I had to pay to warm up my workers, I have to pay 1 additional one, so there goes the other wood. I am done. I have taken care of my folks, and at the end of it all, at the end of the first round, I have gotten an extra worker for my trouble. Now let's come over here to Jen. Everybody comes home. Right, now remember, her yellow needs 2 food, unfortunately. So here's the 2 food. Jen's having to pay for this guy. And we need 2 wood, the 1 wood plus the extra because of the extra harsh winter. And so there goes the 2 wood. And now Jen is done. Because again, living up in the big house, all your needs are taken care of. Only this guy needed help. And now, at the end of the year, I have 3 workers and only 2 cubes. At the end of the year, Jen has 2 workers, but 1, 2, 3 cubes and a money. So, who came out ahead? Who can say? But the first year is over, so this tile is gone. We reveal the tile for the second year, and this year, as you can see, we're going to draw 4 tiles and keep 2 of them. Dairy is going to overproduce this year. Wood can be sold at an extra profit in town, and this year, blue guys, including my blue guy, are going to be extra hungry. And so, it begins again. Everybody can simultaneously draw 4 tiles, keep 2, expand, harvest, go to town, take care of everybody, and so on for 8 more rounds. And now that's it. That's basically how the game works. It gets tougher and tougher because you get more and more people. They have, so you have to feed them more and more. They need more and more wood to keep warm, unless, of course, you get these little huts, because you can upgrade your covered wagons with huts, and then suddenly they don't need firewood. They can stay warm in the hut. So you can cut down on your firewood needs if you buy these. Alternatively, you can buy these extra sheds, and that would be nice for Jen, because then she would have more storage space. She wouldn't have had to throw something away. And then, of course, there's also the upgrades you can get that will get you bonus points at the end of the game. And so I'm going to stop right there with round 1. But if you'd like to see another round or two, you can go on and hit the button that's on screen right now for extended play, or you can hit the other button and go to Final Thoughts right now. Your choice in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.